Hi, I'm Rich. I build stuff. And this is the 18th part of my build playlist for this guy right here. Don't worry, won't look like this at the end of the vid because I actually was smart and filled my intro before I did everything. You know, quite sure when it'll be when the world was new. And hopefully it won't be when the world was not nuked to hell. Okay, so, you know what I find interesting? Somebody said once in a movie, you don't know what you lost or what you have until you lost it. Pardon me. I've got the niece in here, that's why I'm being a little funny with the camera here. Where'd you put it, sweetie? Can I have it? Oh, thank you, right by me. Thank you. So I have this thing mounted over about yonder, and it was happily embedded in this thing, which is clamped onto a, bench pin for, I use for the coping saw, and it allowed me to get some better views. Better camera angles, all that fun. Well, I removed it because I kept smacking myself with said bench pin. And I rather not like doing that, so... But now I got to deal again with the old tripod, and I'm reminded with why I wanted the nice movable camera mount in the first place. Alrighty. So, I'm just gonna make a little thing to 3D print to fix that. Okay, well, let's get to rigging the ship. Yeah, sorry for the lack of CAD video as I, put the whole thing there. You can watch me talk to myself while I start the rigging of the ship. But, yeah, the reason for the lack of CAD today is just because I think I forgot to capture it, or I forgot that I did capture it. Either way, you will see the part print a little bit, and then you'll see the part in its final glory. So, those chain valves, or whatever they are, on the side of the ship, they're kind of the start of these ratline bits. And you'll see me starting it up. I tied those all off to the mast, and then I found that one of them was kind of at a funny angle as I started going up. These ratlines take a while, and that's just the nature of the beast, because what you do is you start on one end, you tie a knot on every single rope, because that's how it goes. Then you apply a dab of super glue on each of those knots to keep them from moving too much. And apparently you block the camera with my hand. Or at least if you're me, you block the camera with a hand. If you were to block the camera with my hand, it wouldn't be so fun on this side of the screen anyways. Yeah, so just lots of work with tweezers. Sometimes I worked with 2 tweezers, sometimes I used a finger and a tweezer. Tweezers proved indispensable in doing this. Super glue was also quite important. Another thing that I kind of figured out was that, the whole, super glue is important, but also, using the snips, the photo etch snips, probably putting undue wear and tear on them. I eventually solved that problem, that's towards the end of this. You'll see it. Alright, so as you can see, it's printing. And it looks like it's going to be okay this time around. I say that because this is what happened the last time. Okay, camera is picking up. So you'll see this, right? These are supposed to be a nice circle all on top of this. So what would make this thing shift like that, right? Well, I've got the answer. So I got this nice little glass bed here, right? That I added. Look there, see that gap? See that gap? I didn't properly ensure that those gaps stayed as gaps. So, from what I can tell, it caught and threw it off in the Y direction. It didn't change its print in the X direction this way, it did it this way. That's how it shifted. And that caused the print to do this horrible gobbledygook right here. Because now it's trying to print in midair, and that's not going to work so good. But now it was actually printing in its little shifted position, but nah, that kind of failure, I knew it wasn't going to go good. So, alright, back to playing, I don't know, it looks like a fishing net. Or I could be profane and say fishnet stocking, but nah. So yep, there I go. I keep making the fishing net throughout this, and while that thing is printing there a bit, and then of course I go to bed and overnight it prints. You'll see it in the next clip where I show it off and then complain about the quality of the print job. Thinking about that, I might have to repeat a project that I did a while back to get good prints. Maybe that'll be in the next vid. Maybe it won't be. We shall see. Alrighty. So. Yep, just watching me put on the super glue and keep making the knots. Alright. Okay, so the edge is curled up on me, something horrible, but it holds really good. It spins good and free. And now I have this nice, easy way to show all my workspace. Or at least the vast majority of it. So when I get the Bismarck or whatnot, I'm going to have to do something else. But for the moment, this is probably going to work pretty good. I give it like an hour of working before I get fed up with it being in my way or something. Turns out, looking at the times involved, just a little, probably just a little under 2 hours actually of working time. And as you can see, me nice and up close doing all these knots and putting them in. So, yeah, you can tell that it was tedious. And this is about the part where I started looking to see where I had, where I could finally end doing this. And then, well, I finally found I could end it, so I start making the next set of, I don't think those are chain plates or chain valves. I think those are something else at this point. But yeah, I put on the string and made it look like they were secured. You kind of nailed down, as it were. Yeah, that's how that worked. And I made it look like they had hooks on the bottom of them, so that they would look like they were hooking onto rope. I'm gonna do that. I don't do that for the remainder of these, but that's because I haven't done them yet. I haven't even done stringing up the all the lower things without the rat lines. After this set of full rat line going all the way along, so not just these rat lines on the side, but all the way up, then I just start doing the initial bits on the next mast. And I only get through the lower ones, so the next one's going to be more rat lines, and maybe, again, some 3D printer messery, but that's besides the point. So, yeah. Once I start the strings on, I get them tied on. Got a nice high-up camera, and yeah, I probably bumped it once or twice. It's good to be able to get in these nice zoomed-in shots, right? That is useful. But at the same time, it's like, the camera could be better aimed or easier to aim. So I'm thinking about that, too. Alrighty then. The really sucky thing is, it's a great place to put the camera, but every move I make is going to shake this boom like a bucking bronco. It would be better if I had, a separate stand. And then I could also add some kind of quick disconnect functionality that would allow me to take this lovely thing and, easily pull the battery out without changing the damn position. Yeah, that'd be really cool. And I might make that part of the next video too, we'll see. So, guess since we're late into the film, if you're here, you probably really care a bit about why this video is late, or I've been enthralling so far by some, quirk of fate. So, what it is my kids, long and short, are all medically complex. And sometimes medical complexity requires complex tests that can only be carried out in the hospital. He's back home now, but that took a bit of time. We had to prepare to do it and then reel from after doing it, and that's about why this vid is a couple days late. Sorry about that. Alright. As I go on and... here we go. So now what I'm doing is I'm preparing those... as I mentioned, for the rat lines, I'm preparing the pulleys all in advance. I did this for the first set of them as well, preparing them all in advance. You'll also see I take a wire bent to be the proper distance between them. I did that as well. That way I can set the distance accurately and then use it as a kind of fixture to tie everybody in when we're tying these little ropes in to get all that nice and secured, you know. And you will see me do that, and then after setting these up, I do rat lines up this part of the mast too. And sometimes the camera will zoom in good, and sometimes it won't. Lovely. Okay, so as merrily watching that go along, go in and out of focus, makes me wonder if I'm gonna, you know, actually save all this footage or not. My opinion is I should, because I did, you know, make it a point quite a while ago to want to show you all the little steps. So not just the highlight reel you might get elsewhere, but like you get to suffer with me. I guess you've embraced that if you're 9 minutes or no, sorry, you're like 11 minutes into this now. Hi. Okay, so yep, once again, just tie off, make knots, super glue the knots where they go. And eventually I get to a point where I think it's realistic that I would be able to stop or something. Or that it is not physically possible to do anymore. Kind of matches the plan sort of where it ends up. So, yeah. Anywho. Yep, that is a good quick look at the plans. And I guess this is a bit of me hemming and hawing before finally, yep, it looks like I'm going to go ahead now and this, I start making all the things to go on the front mast there for the to hold the rat lines to. I also, you'll see in a bit, make a set of wire guides actually as well, like I did previously that I showed you on the upper main mast. I do that with all these, I guess they're chain plates in that lower, you know, or chain volleys. You know, if you've been watching for a while, you know what they are. If not, they're these weird pulley thingamabits. Yeah, I couldn't, you know, just still trying to figure out how to get on there. Alright. How appropriate, all the tedium of tying knots and ropes and looking at a plan. Yeah, so I just kind of kept that plan close as well when I was doing this. Either that page or another page, depending on what exactly I was trying to accomplish. And there I go, once again, using knots and everything to get these all these lines that are on the mast secured. Yeah. Yep, here I am making the wires. And along with that, they're making us another set of the pulleys. I think what I did is I made, I either made the pulley bits one at a time or I made them in batches and then put them on the mast. So, yep, make the pulley, put it in place. I've been super gluing all the knots that I make in order to try to make them more durable. And then I go ahead and I tie them up onto the mast in different places. I may have alternated, I may not have. But in either case, I put them all out one end so I could just kind of cut them all off at the end when they're all securely installed. And again, all that bending you see with me doing with wire, with the calipers and everything, is getting those measured kind of spacer bits just right so I can begin at the right distance that the plan tells me to, which I think was 15 millimeters. It might have been more, might have been less. But, yep, there we go. Once more, pulling it, doing all the tying off and getting everything nice and tight looking. And after I do these up, you'll see me actually tie the little tackle blocks to each other that are at the bottom there. I think I'm approaching that step now. Maybe not. Maybe. So yeah, it looks like this could be it. This could be where I actually do all that Ah, there we go. Yep, that started, and I of course have it high above because I forgot to re-aim the camera. Silly me. But as you can see, I do a bunch of tying down right at the bottom of that line with the pulleys. And I just keep going on through doing that for all of them. The plan tells me at least how to do the rigging. I will say this. The building of the boat, the plan was a pain in the neck. The only bigger pain in the neck on this build is actually bend the steering wheel, which is again broken on me, and I'll have to again remake before calling this model good. Oh well. But as you can see, there I go once again, using tweezers and everything to get the little bits of rope through the old, the thinner string that secures the top and bottom of those kind of tackle blocks that form the ratlines. And I'm going to assume that was also used to support the mast somewhat. Yeah, it's a pretty common thing. I guess the idea is called guy wire, where you got a couple wires on this really tall, thin structure, and it's the tension in these wires that keeps that structure in actual compression, so that it doesn't, like rip itself apart or something. Hey, here we go. Now we get a good close-up of me actually doing all this tying. So there you go. You can kind of see it. You can kind of see the progress of it, and then my hand. And I'm going to assume that my hand is a very prominent star in this section of the film. Sorry about that. Again, maybe I should get onto that more intricate camera mount so that I could mount it in different ways and mount it much more easily. That would be nice. That could be helpful, and I may yet do that. We'll see. Maybe not. I mean, I do want to get this model done sooner rather than later because I want to go back to the Dreadnought. I like my plastic models. And then, of course, I'll move on to a bunch of planes, and then it'll be finally to the Bismarck. I'm really looking forward to the Bismarck build, to be honest. I'm not going to skip the other models I've got, but still. Alright, here's the outro. So there it is. How I got these ratlines on and put these beginnings of other ratlines on, and still have, as you can imagine, quite a ways to go. But getting there. Not too bad for a month of work. Well, not a month, but you get the point. Alright, so until next time, which will hopefully be quicker. Hopefully we'll be back to once every 2 weeks, give or take. I am Rich. I build stuff. This is Mamoli Lexington 18, and, well, time for the YouTube dance of like, share, subscribe. Hooray! Peace out.